Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily live stream. If this is your first time here, I can guarantee you this is not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream every day, 10 a.m. to 11:30, really about 11:33 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday, Eastern time. Welcome to the show. If you are watching this at a later point, you may not be able to participate in the live chat, but I do want to encourage you to get active in the comments down below. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you're feeling. We do make every attempt we can to go through all the different comments and the participation all of you are giving back to us so that we can make sure that we are providing the content that you want, but also the questions and the issues and all the other things that you may be having. We want to make sure that we can address those here live on air as well as in BitLab Academy, because the whole goal of this channel and actually BitLab Academy as a whole is to make sure that we're bridging that gap from beginner to pro. So again, my name's Kellam. Make sure that you check out all of these socials right down here below. Check out bitlabacademy.com. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that bell. Welcome to the show. How's everybody feeling? How you doing? How you looking? I'm wearing my, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm wearing my white BitLab Academy long sleeve shirt here today. Felt like I had to change it up, be a little on brand, be, just kind of show off some of the swag we got. So make sure you check out hitmerch.com. You can search BitLab and all the different BitLab merch is in there. Shout out to Morel for putting that all together. He runs all our merch. Wonderful. And Randall Dance says, give us the sauce, Kelly. You must be coming over from the Frankie Candles channel. Yeah, we will drop that sauce on you. We can dip into, you want ranch, you want hot wing sauce, you want what, we're going to provide the sauce for you on what's going on in the market, on these trades, on everything that's going on, so we can navigate this with some sort of roadmap as an understanding as to what's possible, what could happen, what may happen, both directions, so that we can have that capital protection in place. Because remember, if price goes down, it's only painful when you're out of position or you don't have the right risk management tools in place, because you can also make money on price going down, whether it's selling at a top, waiting for the drop, and then buying in so that your portfolio can be on top, or maybe you're somebody that likes shorting. A lot of people make a lot of money shorting and then wait till the end of the volatility and then just take a, long position long and ride out the volatility, the move all the way to the upside. Use some key signals that we can utilize with whether it's the BitLab trading stack, whether it's RSI and stochastics or Market Cipher or Lux Algo, any tools you use, all of them have their own strategy, but they all are based on the same principles. Looking at what's happening with the strength of the market. These indicators that are, basically giving you signal as to where momentum is moving. Signals that can give you where the strength is in relationship to price action. So if price action is moving up, but you're seeing the RSI lower, meaning there's lower relative strength, which is what the RSI is, relative strength index, then, price moving up, RSI not following suit. That means there's not as much strength. There's not as much fuel in the tank to get you there. But today, what we're going to do is a bunch of TA towards the second half of the show. I'm going to kind of sprinkle it in at the beginning as well. But we got some context that we have to go over this week. And if you all notice, anybody that's an OG in here, meaning you've been watching us all the way back since January, throw OG in chat. Let me know. Let everybody else know how many people in here have been watching from the beginning. We started this channel. Let me go ahead and pull this up. We started this channel back in mid-January. We're already pushing about 7,500. This is, I have not seen any other channel in the crypto space go from 0 to, over 7,000 in a matter of about 4 months, 5 months. Most take, a year or two to even hit the 3,000 mark. So this is not boasting. This is just saying, this is the strength of you all. This is the strength of the community. This is the strength of sharing understandable knowledge that gives people meaningful tools so that they can navigate this market, so that they can change your life, so that you can change your life. That's what BitLab Academy is all about. Yes, we bring alpha. Yes, we bring very advanced strategies, but we also throw that rope back to beginners so that people can be, it's like when you're trying to learn a new language. Throw one in chat if you had to take a language course in school when you're growing up. Throw a 2 in chat if you took a language course during school, and now you're fluent in that language. I guarantee you, and I'm not saying this is having no knowledge of that language before taking those, 1 period a day classes. I guarantee you if there's even one, two, meaning that you became fluent from learning language in a school program, I doubt that's going to be the case. Same thing happens with trading, with investing, with managing your money and understanding how to read these markets and know what to do. So what I like to do is, it's what do you call it? Immersive. So we're not just going to start with every stream here and talk about the most beginner knowledge, because that doesn't benefit you. Even if you're starting, we want to share advanced strategies so you're getting comfortable. You're hearing the verbiage. You're hearing the lingo. You're seeing things. You're starting to slowly absorb it, and then each stream, we try to throw it back and break down something that is very beginner friendly, whether it's understanding support and resistance, or candles, or the basic principles of indicators and oscillators. We sort of mix the bag there of alpha and beginner. So stick with us here. We love each and every one of you, and I got to say how much I appreciate all of you for being here, especially those of you that are here on a daily basis. Let's go ahead and call out some names, and then we're going to jump in and cover a bunch of stuff. It's a big day today. We had the Binance. We have some stuff that from Binance yesterday that's sort of big news we need to talk about. It's a good window into some of the positive sides of our U.S. government, because there are positives. It's not all negative. If you're going to look at the bad, you have to also understand the good. If you're going to look at the good, you also have to understand the bad. Nothing happens in a vacuum. There can't be good without evil. There can't be evil without good. So same thing happens within these markets. So let's go ahead and call it some names, and we're going to go over a couple stories, and we're going to break down a bunch of TA. So we got Karen Swagart Harris, first one in the room today. Alexandra G, Sawtooth Hiker, Bully Barry, Justin Eubanks. Everybody right now, I want you to just bow your head. I don't care what religion you are. You can do it in whatever sort of practice and principle and faith that you have, but send some love to Justin Eubanks' family. They got a little bit of a medical issue going on with somebody that he loves dear, and we love Justin Eubanks dear because he is in our community, and we just want to show that love back, because this is not just about crypto. This is not just about making money. This is not about getting rich. We have to remember all these things that we talk about in the digital asset ecosystem is about building meaningful resources so that we can have a stronger community in our own lives. And each one of us that builds a stronger community in our own lives builds a stronger community overall. Now that sounds a little bit idealistic, but it's true. We need to be a family. We need to be community. So shout out to Justin Eubanks. Who else we got in here? I'm George 2, King Peasant, Crimson Caravan Company. Who else we got? Rafiq Ghafoor. I'm scrolling, baby. Jay, Kristen Crows, Nico, Rami K, Randall Dance, Alexandra G. Can't remember if I said your name, but you deserve, I'll say it again, Alexandra G. So much help here with the mods here in the BitLab community. GS, how you doing? Harry Newt, Rick Cogswell. We got a bunch of people in the house. Total Clinic Solutions, Terpene Hunter, Redman, and we're going to jump in right now. If I didn't call your name, I apologize. Tenacious B, how you doing? We're going to go ahead and start with what's going on in the market. So let's first, let's go ahead and move this over here. Got to organize my screen. Pull this up one moment. I need to pull up the right chart. Question is right now, have you hit that like button? Have you hit that subscribe? Have you ding that bell? Join us in our community here. We break things down on the daily. So let's go ahead and talk about right here. Let's go ahead and talk about, I'm going to go ahead and pull these up. Boom. We're going to go ahead here and look at Bitcoin 12 hour. Look at all these order blocks we have on the Mesopic Vision right here. Order block, order block, order block. This came up, got rejected at this order block. Came down, we had an order block from right here. This is what these blue boxes are. Came down, bounced on this order block, right? Came up, got rejected right at the previous local high right here. Came down and found support on this level. What is this level? Well, let's go out. Let's zoom out just a little bit. Let's go to auto. I'm going to double click on the chart, minimize those other indicators. It's this point to this point right here, and look at where we're finding support right here. If we actually draw this, we can actually draw where is it? There we go. It looks like we've got a little bit of a parallel channel here, pretty close to it at least. It also could be another rising wedge. There we go. So you see these levels right here. This came down right to this level, and we're finding support at this level, which is also, we've got a couple wicks down. We got a couple candle bodies down. This is on the 3-day, but we're holding above this key level. This is a key level. Why is this a key level? What the heck is a key level? Well, a key level, shout out Crypto JMP, a key level is an area where price action has had a lot of interaction of reversals, okay? So we see this right here, reversal, come up, reversal. Now we came down right here, kind of bounce up, a little bit of a reversal back to bullish. We're coming right down. So we're testing these areas where price action has found a lot of previous resistance. Is this going to be now deemed support? Well, remember, I drew this box when we were probably somewhere over here, saying that, you know, if price does break down back into this box, I'll be looking for price to come down and at least, it doesn't mean stay there or break below it, but at least come down and tap it. And we broke down in here, and look at this, we came down, tapped right into the very top of this green box. Is there more room to go down? Well, we'll be talking about that. We're going to be doing a lot more TA at the end. I'm just getting a little brief overview of what's going on. If we zoom out on this, if we zoom out on this, not zoom out, but pull up the other indicators, significant movement is showing a blue wave here as we're coming down to this, meaning most of the momentum indicators, basically this aggregate momentum read is showing that this is getting into a very undervalued zone. And the relative extrema, see these green candles? We got bullish signal right here on the relative extrema. This means they are outside of the wave, meaning there's not enough bullish pressure to that agrees with this downward price action, meaning there's more underlying bullish pressure than agrees with this, because this is not yet moving up. So this is giving us a setup that maybe a reversal is in play. We're also coming into this level of support from this dotted line right here, which is this level to this level. Support, we're getting bullish, and we're getting the blue wave. This is on the 3-day. Let's go down to the daily. Okay, bullish hidden volume coming in right here at this level. This is gray though. This is not necessarily bad, but it's not saying that the momentum indicators are suggesting. I'm actually going to move this like this. Let me pop out the chat, because right now the chat's all the way over here. I want it in my eye line. I want to see what you're all saying. If you guys have super chats or something specific you want me to look at, or specific questions you want me to address, I try to make sure that we hit any super chat that comes out. So just, you know, thank you for helping support the channel. So I just want to put the chat window right here so I can see it. Now I got chart, and it's like being inside of the cockpit of a spaceship with all these screens trying to do this, and I'm a one-man show. No other producer in here doing this with me. So we're seeing the bullishness coming in with volume, meaning that the bulls are trying to defend this level, and this makes sense because we're at this trend line. We're also holding right above this key level, which is basically the top side of this key level is about 25,231. Now, if we lose this level, there is a possibility. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean we're absolutely going to lose this level and just fall down to the center of the earth. But we very well could come down here, reject, and then come up like that. We very well could come down here, reject, and then sort of do something like this. We very well could come down here and then just sort of trade sideways. There's obviously 3 ways any price action could go on any asset. That's not a cop-out when an analyst says that. That's a good analyst. That's acknowledging that there's not just something that supports their bias. We need to understand that. We need to understand that there's 3 directions any price action could go at any time, because we don't know when some incredible news story is going to come out. We don't know when some terrible news story is going to come out. We don't know when a hack's going to happen, when SEC is just throwing around inconsequentially and unfoundedly some of the charges that they're doing, and it causes fear in the market and people sell. So we need to plan for that. As it stands right now, we have been in this downtrend, as we see right here. Is this going to reverse? We're seeing some bullishness come in. This is on the daily. Let's get down to the 4-hour. 4-hour, look at this. We're just trending along this line. We're getting bullishness now on the relative extrema. We're trying to flash a little red, but it goes back gray. Flash a little red, goes back gray. What this indicates to me is if we pull up the MACD, RSI, and stochastics, where we are. Okay, so this is, excuse me. This is indicating that it's coming up here. Stochastics are rolling over. We're battling option H. We're going to get a 50 line here. Option H, if you're on PC, it's Alt H, gives you a horizontal line. But what I'm looking at here is you can generally determine the strength of a trend. Bullish if the stochastics, it's the stochastics are making their way above 50, especially if the RSI makes its way above 50, especially on a 4-hour above, or above time frame. Then you're getting generally strong sort of read of strength, meaning you're probably in a sustainable uptrend. Once we fall below, as we see here, we've fallen below the 50 line. Each time we try to come up above the 50 line on the RSI, it's getting rejected. We try again above the 50 line, gets rejected. We just barely tap it, rejected, barely tap it. And if we really look at this, let's go ahead and zoom in on this. If we really look at this, I can just see this just from sort of chart vision. We're getting a general trend here. It's not going to be an exact trend line with this RSI, but we're getting a general trend that each time this comes up, rejected. This is having, even right here, option T, this is having lower lows, you see? So we're getting relatively weaker and weaker sort of strength read on the market. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Now, the one thing I will say, though, here on these are the traditional indicators. We can see the money flow. The money flow is sort of rounding like this and coming back up. Is stochastic set? Are the stochastics set to sort of break up? Is RSI set to break up? As it stands right now, the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, great read, a little bit lagging, but a great read of where the momentum is moving. And we can see this is starting to expand again. I can tell without even zooming into this because this is light green, dark green, light green, dark green. Dark green, as you see here, means expanding, meaning these two moving averages are moving further apart. Lighter green means that they are converging. That's what moving average convergence divergence. So this is diverging, meaning getting wider. This is converging, meaning getting tighter. You can see it play out on these two moving averages here, and you can also see it immediately just looking at this histogram right here. So as it stands right now, Bitcoin is holding its support line right here. If we lose this level, let's go ahead. I see there's another trend line right here. It's worth noting this sort of trend line right here. We are coming into a bit of a squeeze here, and there's going to be, and it makes sense. It's funny how the markets do this. Do the markets direct what's going to be happening in the world? Or does the world direct what's happening in the markets? Probably neither. But the speculation and the awareness about what's coming to the market, meaning the pressures, the context, the monetary policy, interest rates, an impending decision from a court that has to do with regulation. There's awareness about this in the participants in the market, and as such, we get expansions in volatility, boom, and contractions in volatility. Expansion and volatility, contraction, okay? And as we see this on the broader sense, we're kind of squeezing into this zone right here, and if we do lose this level, which we very well could, now we all need to be patient today as to what's happening with the markets because we have that FOMC meeting. There's a lot of people, we're going to show some evidence that a lot of people, most people trading in the markets are expecting a pause. What happens if we don't get a pause? Most people are meaning no rate hike. What happens if we get a pause, but there is a forced sell, meaning there's a market manipulation? Everybody that participates in the market is manipulating the market. Why? Because we all want the market to go up or down depending on what our strategy is. So we can't fault anybody for that. What we can do is take charge, take ownership of what we're doing with our portfolio and not succumb to the emotional triggers that basically are making us volunteer our money to somebody else's wallet. That's what we're trying to prevent. So on today's price action, this is on the 4-hour. Let's come down to the 1 hour. This is going to be more relevant. On a day like today, coming down maybe below the 4-hour, looking at the 1 hour, and then as we get closer to the FOMC meeting, looking at something like the 24-minute or the 30-minute, getting a little bit more read on the market. But what we very well could see, the FOMC meeting, a decision is going to be about right here, option V. And then the press conference, I believe, is about an hour after that, maybe 30 minutes or an hour. But basically, we'll just look at this region right here. So as we push into this zone, we very may well get, a push up, a sell off, and then basically equilibrium, and then a decision. This is what the market's going to do, right? No. Let me move this box out of the way. a push up, a sell off, and then equilibrium, and then the deciding factor of which way we're going to go. It also could be a sell off, a push up, reversion, a mean reversion, and then a continuation either up or down. It's going to depend on what happens with what the FOMC meeting, what their determination is for what the interest rates are going to be. Are we going to pause? Are we going to get another 25 basis point hike? And then, meaning if we pause and then we get a very hawkish, probably either way, I think the press conference that shortly follows the FOMC decision. Either way, I think there's going to be some hawkishness and some dovishness, meaning they're going to try and frame and mitigate some of the issue that investors are going to cause and speculate on, meaning they don't want the market just to run, because if the market just runs and people make a bunch of money, then they're messing up this sort of issue with inflation. They want people to kind of be stagnant in terms of how the money's flowing right now, because if everybody's making a ton of money, then that gives a lot more money to be spent in markets and, in retail sectors, and therefore prices start going up again. So at the same time, if they determine that they want to do one more rate hike today, which I don't think they will, but if they do, we have to consider that. If they do, then I think that they will say, after this, we're done at the press conference. Now, we're finally done. We're not going to do anything. There's a very, very good chance that today that they have no rate hike, which is what the thumbnail on this is, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. No rate hike. And then what happens if they say no rate hike? We get a pump, like this. And then it would be much faster than this. It would be, this is on the 1 hour. Let's look at the 24-minute. Maybe if we get no rate hike, we're going to get volatility up and down. We're not going to know which way it's going to go. But I think there will be, potentially a push up into the FOMC meeting. And then when we get the conference talking points may be, we did pause today, but pending this, we may do another rate hike. I think that will cause a little bit of a sell-off. And then people will be like, okay, these are just talking points. If the CPI comes in again favorably, meaning disinflation, meaning prices are going down on all these CPI reads and PMI reads and PPI, all the alphabets, then they're going to have no reason to raise. So let's jump back here onto the main screen. Everybody, if you bought in the last week, put a 1 in chat right now. You bought any digital asset. If you had fear in the market from all these things happening with Binance and Coinbase and all the things, all the stuff, if you have exited a significant portion, maybe not all, but 25% or more, and you're in either stablecoins or even fully cash, put a 2. I want to see who was in severe capital protection mode. If you've done nothing, by the way, none of these answers are right or wrong. This is just, everybody has a different strategy. And if you've done nothing and you're sitting on your hands because you have a longer term outlook and you're kind of waiting for a decision on a little bit of these things before you decide to make another move, put a 3. Now, it's just interesting. I want everybody I do these sort of questions and I ask for y'all's engagement because it's important that everybody in the market, especially, I hate it when people, I can't believe I just did that. I just said especially. That is not the word. If you say it, take it out of your vocabulary. It is especially. It's not Pacific. It is specific. Okay. We all need to speak better. We need to be more eloquent. We need to convey our thoughts in a way that is, the correct way as much as possible. Especially, we need newer people in the market to see that there's other people that have different strategies that may be doing, if they're seeing everybody's buying and they're not, it's like, oh, but they're seeing people, look, we have 1s, 2s, and 3s. And I applaud all of you because that means you're thinking about what it is that you're having a conscious thought about what your strategy is, what, where, why, you're, how you're interacting with this market. And that's very important. So shout out to everybody. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button, and I said, ding that bell. Get those notifications. There's been a lot going on in the background here at BitLab Academy, here at the Hit Network. Obviously, you may or may not know, depending on if you watched yesterday. I did move to Atlanta on Sunday, so I'm here now. I'm also in the midst of house hunting to get my living arrangement set up. Currently, I am homeless. Yes, you heard it. You heard it. I'm homeless right now, but I have somewhere to stay, so it's all good. So there's a lot coming. I have a plan for afternoon videos. My plan is to do these live morning streams, a produced afternoon video, and then a short every day to continually bring you guys content. Also touch on what's happening throughout the day, and also bring little mini lessons to you all to give you tools regularly, very short format. And by the way, I just want to shout out, if you haven't yet, make sure you come over, get involved with BitLab Academy. Come over here at bitlabacademy.com. You can start your education for free. Of course, watch these streams every day. We break down a ton of stuff, but also I share this because this may be something valuable to your friend, family, neighbor, mother, uncle, cousin, brother. Come here, start your education for free. When they click on that, you can come right here, beginner start free. You can just sign up, right? You can sign up for BitLab free. There's a whole section of courses. If we come right here, you can see. Also, if you just want all access to all the courses and all the future courses, click right here. You get all access to all the course content. We've got a lot of stuff. It's only $37.99 a month. You can use Give Me 30 at checkout to get 30% off your first month. But check out all these courses, and I'm working on so much more content. It's not just going to be trading content either. We got mining, we got self-custody, we have security and operational security, how to not get tricked into a scam. We got all kind of stuff in here, but all this stuff right here is free. Blockchain, Bitcoin 101, crypto beginners, self-custody. This is all free. This one has about 20 lessons in it, I believe. But then all access gets access to all this other stuff, and it's so much content in here. All access also gets access to our premium Discord. So shout out there. Now, before we dive into more of the content, make sure you're following me right here at Kelly Kellam. Make sure you're seeing the check mark, the blue check, and the HIT logo right here. And it's KELOY, KELLAM. I will be doing my Crypto Answered tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So come give this a follow and enter yourself to win. We draw every Friday. This will be stopping at some point soon. But right now, come here. Follow us on BitLab Academy, which is at Academy BitLab. You see right there. Hit that retweet. Hit that like button. This is how you get entered to win. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the content for today. We got, man, you guys are, I'm liking the engagement today. Everybody chatting in chat. We need better conversing in chat, engaging in chat. Let's go ahead and move this over so I can see these numbers. We got 190 people in here. Only 76 of you are engaging with the content you're watching for free. Didn't your mother teach you better? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, ding that bell. Now, let's go ahead and look at what we want to look at today. This is not what we want to look at. I hadn't seen this yet. I always love Game of Trades. Make sure you're following them. They put out great content. Now, of course, this is typically focused on traditional assets, but when we're trying to get that edge on these digital assets, we got to look at traditional assets too. What's the risk on risk? If risk off behavior is in traditional assets, it's very highly likely, historical analysis has shown, there's risk off mentality in traditional markets and uncertainty in traditional markets. There is not very much support for bullish pressure. Even if there's a bullish impulse, the trend is if risk off is in global markets, it's going to be risk off for the time being. Hopefully this breaks in the future. But we're seeing, look at this, risk on, risk off indicator. We're seeing risk on behavior is widely present in the market. So this is good. This is good as it stands right now. But we're seeing some suppression in Bitcoin and the digital asset ecosystem. Why could that be if there's risk on in markets? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this, and I'm going to say it. Cover your ears if you got kids. We're going to talk about this jackass, Gary Gensler, who some other people in government agree with is a jackass. And that is, let's go ahead and pull up, it's right here. We're going to go straight to this one. Judge reportedly slams SEC's enforcement actions. It is interesting to note that Judge Berman slammed the SEC's continuous use of enforcement actions to regulate the cryptocurrency industry. According to a New York Times report, the judge described the SEC's preference for regulation by enforcement as inefficient and cumbersome. In Judge Talk, she's saying, Gary and SEC that's following him, you guys are jackasses and you need to get your act together. That's what she's saying right there. Essentially, if you think about what's happening, and I've talked about this on the stream, and again, I apologize for the language, but when we're talking, if it's okay on prime time, I can say it here on YouTube. And I know we like to be this family friendly, but we need even our friends and family that may be a little bit more conservative, they need to know. Gary Gensler, you're a jackass, okay? Say it with me. Everybody, say it with me. Gary Gensler's a jackass. Now, here, right now, when we're talking about this, when you think about the Coinbase lawsuit and the XRP lawsuit, the Coinbase lawsuit, and the Binance lawsuit, and we're having things come to a head with the XRP case. We got the Hinman documents out on the 13th. We had the Binance case also was on the 13th, and they were, these prosecutions were basically brought, these were brought to the prosecutor and charged, or whatever legal lawsuits were filed a week before all this stuff was happening in the XRP lawsuit. Does that not seem coordinated to you? Does that not seem like a absolute explicit act of market manipulation? They are trying to suppress let me pull this up. They're trying to suppress the digital asset ecosystem. Cbdc US release. I believe this is coming up. Date. I just want to get the date right. I believe this is launching July. It might be July 1st. Let's see. Command F, July. You got to use your tools, man. Your find buttons, your quick keys. I hope everybody learns that. I'm going to teach you all right now. If you're on a Mac, you can go back and forth between windows. Command tab and Command Shift tab goes. You can see you'll bring up a little window. If you're on a PC, Alt tab or Alt Shift tab goes back and forth between your different windows. Command C or I think it's Alt C is copy. Command V is paste. Alt V. I'm just giving you all the quick keys, man. I want you all to be understanding the digital technology you're working with. And if you don't know how to operate your computer well, how the hell are you going to navigate the crypto markets well? I'm here for you. I'm feeling spicy today. I'm a spicy meatball. And we can see here that the CBDC set for launch July, it may be July 1st, but for the July launch. So let's just say July broadly. Now, we have the July launch of the U.S.-controlled CBDC, and was this two to 3 weeks before the crypto being launched by the U.S. I think is it the Federal Reserve pilot program, FedNow, launching on July 1st, and now we have these coordinated attacks on Binance and Coinbase. XRP case, likely coming to a close. This is absolute. Here's what the U.S. Let me go ahead and make this big screen. Here's what the U.S. regulators, U.S. government officials, politicians need to understand. The U.S. dollar, gold, Bitcoin, none of these exist in a vacuum. We don't need, none of these individual currency systems need to fight for control and power. If they are good, if it is what the people need the best, if it is good, if it is what the people need the most, if it's the most efficient, we live in a capitalist society here in the U.S., and the capital market is what determines what is the best. And the way that happens is the thing that is designed to be the most efficient should be the thing, the most cost-effective and the most utility-effective means of delivery, whether it's a tractor or a currency, is the thing that needs to take the largest market share. Now, the U.S. government is trying to say, well, digital assets, it's investor protection. Well, let's talk about all the things that have failed in the last 20 years, from Enron to some of the biggest banking collapses that we've ever had in this year alone. But crypto is the issue. There's black market things that happen on crypto. Okay, what the hell did all these black market things happen on before crypto? US dollars. And believe it or not, all those black market things are still happening on US dollars. The Mexican drug cartels have over $500 or $600 billion being held in the mainstream banks. But crypto's the issue. Now, they're trying to suppress crypto, and I talked about this the other day, because of the transparency it brings. If the world moves towards Bitcoin Algorand, Ethereum, Cardano. All of these can coexist. They all have slightly different functions. Does the US dollar need to go away? Not necessarily, no. The US government needs to understand that the US dollar can coexist with these other forms of monetary transactions and store of value. And in addition to that, we have to remember Ethereum is not necessarily a store of value. Some people use it that way, but it's thought of as a world computer. It removes trust and then it removes the need for trusted third parties for execution of contracts, is what smart contracts are all about. Same thing that a lot of these layer one solutions are built on this premise. And they just, because they came after Ethereum, there are new evolutions of that attack it and focus on it and have a lens on the execution of working through those smart contracts and executing those smart contracts in new and more efficient ways. So why is government trying to suppress one of the biggest innovations of our time when in reality, it could coexist with it? Do you realize right now if every single thing was on the blockchain, how much more effective it would be for them to have the citizens do taxes and trace illicit activity? Because every transaction you ever do or every transaction that's ever happened is on the blockchain. Now, it would take a little bit of sleuthing, but you could identify bad actors pretty quick and blacklist those, maybe not blacklist. We don't want to do that on a decentralized currency system, but highlight the transactions that are happening with those sort of highlighted, sort of illicit, bad actors. Things are a lot more efficient if everything is happening on the blockchain. Now, coming back to our originally scheduled programming, I got a question for everybody on chat right now, because if you all notice, anybody that's been watching, I've sort of changed a little bit of the format of the show in the last week or two. And throw one in chat if you like the new format where I'm kind of touching on some news topics and then bring it into the charts and kind of moving through it rather than just having, all TA. It's hard to do an hour and a half of TA every day. I'm trying to make sure that we're integrating the context and sort of working through my mindset of how I'm breaking down these topics while then, also going into the charts and looking at it on chain. If you like the current format, let me know in the comments. I said the hiccup burp. Now, we got some ones. Oh, no. Now, what do we want to look at? Judge Torres slamming them. I think I had something else highlighted. Now, it's worth noting the development was shared by crypto-friendly legal analysts who used the pseudonym MetaLawman. According to MetaLawman, the judge asked the SEC if it had evidence of Binance US moving its assets overseas. The SEC had zero evidence to back its TRO request, basically asking to freeze all their assets. The SEC is bringing legislation not because it's bad or wrong of what Binance, Coinbase are doing. They're bringing legislation because it strengthens the negative sentiment. Anybody that's already on the fence about, maybe somebody was about to jump into crypto and now they see these, they're trying to truncate and slow down the adoption of crypto. It's inevitable. It's 100% inevitable, whether we have all these things being able to move forward and all these SEC securities lawsuits are dropped or not. Crypto and blockchain is still the answer. Even if it's just Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's still going to be the thing that is going to continue eating, I don't want to say market share, but eating into the adoption is going to take liquidity from these other systems. And you know what? That's what capitalist society is about, is driving innovation through efficiency, driving through innovation through the need of a problem being fixed. If the US dollar didn't need to be fixed, if fiat currencies didn't need to be fixed, if there weren't issues with government, if there weren't issues with transparency, the blockchain and crypto digital asset ecosystem would not have, one, been developed and grown so precipitously. You see, the issue at hand is not blockchain and crypto. The issue at hand is the inefficiency and the dark nature by which the US dollar and world fiat currencies operate behind closed doors, blacked out spending, funding to, dark projects and there's no accountability for how the dollar's spent, and yet they want to tax us on those $600 transactions on Venmo. And meanwhile, they've got 70% of their money in the Department of Defense that's unaccounted for. It's like, okay. Coming back here, got 250 people in the room, 125 likes. Let's get those likes up. Maybe I'll do something special if we get those likes up to 225 today. Maybe I'll do something special out of my own pocket. We'll see. Now, coming over here, let's talk about the FOMC. Let's talk about this last, actually. And then we'll dive into the TA here in a little bit and some charts. This is one right here. Hinman documents shake up the SEC and Ripple case. What happens next? Now, I highlighted just a couple thoughts here. We're not going to go through the whole article, but we'll just go through the highlights. The unsealing of the Hinman documents deals a significant blow to the SEC case against Ripple. Hinman's speech underscored that the SEC's definition of a security maintains a technology-neutral stance. What does not encompass decentralized cryptocurrencies lacking a central issuing authority. So this is why the ICO was such a big thing, was because we were having people invest on the promise of the developers actually building out the protocols that the vision was, right? So maybe a lot of these things, let's be honest, maybe some of these things were initially securities, but the question here is, now that they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily, they're decentralized in such a manner, and there's no centralized authority governing them, because now they're running on smart contracts and other mechanisms that are operating them. There are, for instance, IOHK is still building out certain aspects of Cardano, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's just people on the network building out. They're moving. It's decentralized. This Ripple's legal battle gets boost with release of Hinman files. Of course, we all know this. This incongruity raises questions about the SEC's litigation against Ripple and its adherence to its own guidelines concerning categorizing cryptocurrencies. Moreover, the disclosure of the Hinman documents signifies a triumph for transparency. A triumph for transparency. This is what we're after. Why are we, let me do this again. Why is the digital asset ecosystem battling the SEC over the nature of transparency? Coming to this screen right here, the disclosure of the Hinman documents signifies a triumph for transparency. The SEC has faced reproach for its secretive handling of the Ripple case, and releasing these documents will provide the public with a clearer understanding of the SEC's I cannot speak today. A clear understanding of the SEC's decision-making process regarding cryptocurrency regulation. We're battling. These lawsuits are essentially the digital asset ecosystem battling the SEC for transparency. The digital asset ecosystem cannot be argued with the fact that we are transparent. That is the nature of the blockchain. The SEC, they want things sealed. They don't want these conversations, these behind closed doors talks brought forward. They don't want transparency. The U.S. government, central banks don't want transparency. They're talking about investor protections. Wouldn't investor protections' number one agenda be transparency? Think about that. Now, coming back to the screen here. The unveiling of the Hinman documents stands as a significant victory for Ripple. Nevertheless, it does not mark the end of the legal proceedings. We need to realize this. This is why we got the pump up and the sell off yesterday. They're released, and the CPI number was good, and this is all systems go. No, there's still speculative trading going on, when there will be, of course, but there's no resolution yet. But what does this mean? The SEC is anticipated to persist in pursuing the case against Ripple. We know that. And the unsealing document may engender further legal, but this is where we're getting to right here. However, this revelation could pave the way for a settlement between Ripple and the SEC. This is what everybody's banking on right now, and I do think this is what's going to happen. We're seeing already some of those talks that we just saw with Judge Torres. Is this it? Yeah. With Judge Torres on the Binance case, she's, basically that, the judge described the SEC's preference for the regulation, that basically it's inefficient, cumbersome. She's just basically slapping them down, saying this is not something that should be in the court. You're trying to regulate by enforcement rather than by giving a rule framework. We're seeing some smart. Now, the next sort of domino to fall here is in the XRP case. When the court in the XRP case, what is that decision going to be? And I'm sure a lot of, I feel for that person. They should be objective, right? These judges should be basing their rule of law on, they should be basing their decisions on the rule of law and underpinned primarily by the Constitution, freedom of trade, freedom of speech, freedom of, freedom of the pursuit of happiness. Well, I'll tell you right now, my pursuit of happiness is in the digital asset ecosystem, not because I want a lot of money, but because I want to really build out this ecosystem that supports freedom. And then also, as my resources grow, I can provide a tool that releases a burden from some of my friends and family members and other loved ones. And if I have more resources, I can do more good. So, man, there's just so much to talk about today, everybody. Let's go ahead. We're going to look at this FOMC thing right here first, and we're going to be diving into some TA here in a moment. So right here, FOMC, which is a Federal Open Market Committee, bonds, dollar, inflation, decrease. Okay, decrease. I thought it was saying decreases. Bonds, dollar, inflation, decrease, U.S. Fed bet on pause. Peter Brandt predicts Bitcoin rally. Well, what's going on here? Well, blah, 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 blah. Stanley Bloomberg, Barclays, BMO, CIBC, Nomura, RBC, and Wells Fargo analysts actively believed in no rate hike in June. In fact, the CME FedWatch tool, which is this right here, also shows a 95% probability of the Fed keeping its policy rate unchanged. The bonds market expected the Fed to skip the rate hike in June. Okay, what does this mean? This is institutional traders, and also people that have a better understanding of investments. Not only institutional traders, smarter money than just the average retail trader. People in bonds have a better understanding of what's going on in the markets. They're hedging their bets. They're using various tools, not just buying stocks, but they're balancing their portfolios and really taking a calculated view of what's going on in the markets. And they're basically they're betting on a skip of the rate hike. And they've been pretty darn right on this whole sort of rate hike cycle, with the quantitative tightening from Jerome Powell and the FOMC. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Brad Guidell, shout out to my boy Brad Guidell. He said, hopefully crypto will change that. We need accountability in all branches of our government. Isn't that such a novel thought? Isn't that so funny that we don't have that? And all they want to do is have us give more and more of our privacy away, but they won't let us look in the books. That's why they don't want Bitcoin. That's why they don't want blockchain. So crazy. I mean, what we really need is a voting system that's on the blockchain. Then nobody can argue anything about any of it. But it's got to be created by a DAO sort of group, third party with checks and balances. We cannot, for instance, Cbdc. I don't want to go down that path. I'll end up getting the channel banned. The Fed will likely keep rates on hold at the end of the June FOMC meeting, which is today at 2 p.m. That's when we get the number. Meeting for the first time since it began this hiking cycle in March of 2022. Do you all realize we've been having quantitative tightening, meaning liquidity pulled out of the market and increase in interest rates since March of last year, not this year. So over a year now, March, April, May, June, a year and 3 months. Okay. That's 15 months now. We've been having quantitative tightening and interest rate hikes. Chairman Jerome Powell and co. will likely characterize the decision as a hawkish skip, maintaining a bias towards hiking at the end of July meeting. So this is exactly what I was talking about a second ago. Maybe we get a pause, and then they're very hawkish to help sort of quell the market from just exploding. They're going to use literally you have to remember, everybody, every time you see a politician talking on TV, they are shaping a narrative on how they want the markets to go. Especially Jerome Powell and the Fed and Janet Yellen and Elizabeth Warren. I can't even bring her up. But when Jerome Powell's speaking, ask yourself, what is he trying to shape in the market? So when we get the Fed interest rate hike or pause today, and he says there will likely be one or could be one at the end of July, it's because not even specifically because he thinks they may do one at the end of July. And I'm not saying that they will or won't, but understand the context of what the powers, the forces on his every talking point is. The market will move on the rate decision, and you'll see the market will move again. There's going to be probably a 30 to 45 minute press conference about 30 minutes after the Fed rate decision, and people are going to be pulling apart specific words that he uses, and you'll see the markets move, back up or back down, and we're not really going to get a clear direction unless there's something profoundly harsh said or a worse decision than we expected. You're not going to really see a conclusion on what direction the market's going to move from this, probably until about an hour or two after, at minimum, of that Fed rate decision for Bitcoin. Now, the rest of the markets will probably be into the rest of the week. But now we can see here, Dow Jones, S&P 500, NASDAQ futures rise as big money managers and investors drop bearish bets. This goes back to what we were seeing. Was it right here? Risk on behavior is widely present in the market. See, all these things tied together, all of them. Now we can see this is right here, the CME Fed Watch tool. You can just come to CME Group. I'll show you how to get to this CME Group. And you go to, I forgot how I got to it. Data. And then you go to, I just always have it up. Here. There we go. Go to the, see here, right on the right, hit this little magnifying glass, CME Fed Watch tool, bring it up. This shows you where the institutional traders, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, this is also where we get the Bitcoin futures, the CME futures. This is what they are. And this shows you where they're basically hedging their bets. If they're trading in a fashion that they're basically, you're getting a look into the institutional, smarter money, bigger money, and just, experienced traders. And we're seeing a 94 to 95. This is kind of awesome. This has moved a little bit today, but only 5%. Only 5% is looking at a 25% increase on, So, and this has been pretty spot on for the last year and a half on all these. So, everybody, you know what time it is? It's first time to hit that like button, hit that subscribe, ding that bell. It's time to stretch it back. I'm trying to have better posture. And not have my back hurt at the end of the day because I'm like this, hunched over, looking at the charts. I hate it when your brain just pauses, Let me go ahead and scroll through chat here. Somebody says, yo, preach. Nothing there. All right, nothing currently. Tyler Main, what's up, Kraken DJs? What's up? I did a tweet today, actually, that I just did hashtag DGen. And what did it say? Hashtag DGen, U.S. government. Absolute DGens. Yeah, but hey, before we dive into the TA, come over here to the BitLab Academy page. Make sure you're following us here at Academy BitLab. And I think Alexander G or somebody will share the link here. What does it say? Yeah. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. You get entered for a chance to win. Last week we gave away $100. I'm still waiting on, forget his name at the moment. He was in here yesterday. I asked him to send me an email so we could take care of him. But yeah, we'll be giving away something else this week. Maybe another $100. Maybe, big packages for the BitLab or indicators. But come hit this retweet, hit the like button. Make sure you're following us. This is how you get entered to win. Now let's go ahead and look at these charts. By the way, Ben did a little pop yesterday. Just a little bit of a breakout here. But okay, we're looking at Bitcoin. We did at the beginning of the show. If you came in later, go back to the around probably 10 minutes in or so. I did about 10 minutes on Bitcoin TA. So I want you guys in here early. looking at this stuff, because it's all going to be at different parts of the show. But what we're going, I do it every time. There we go. Coming here to the 4 hour. If we're looking at this broadly, these are the zones we're looking at. You see these two boxes? We're looking between these two boxes as well as these two lines right here. If this loses this level, let's go ahead and delete some of these squiggles that we did earlier. Squiggly do, squiggly be. Relative extremists suggesting that there could be a move to the upside. We are getting a little back and forth on the momentum indicators looking. BC Vault is great. Crypto Crank, I really like it. They have one Bitcoin on every BC Vault. That's how secure they are. They have, every BC Vault has a Bitcoin on it, and if you're able to break into it to get it, you get it. They're just proving how secure it is by doing that. Mr. Blake, that's sweet, but you always got to listen to family, man. He said, is it wrong that I considered not answering the phone for my wife just now because I was listening to Kelly? Hey, you can pause me. You can't pause your wife. Pay into listening intently, and it will pay dividends in love and respect in a relationship. I can tell you that for sure. But coming back here to the charts, we're seeing this sort of flip-flop on this momentum indicator being overheated or underheated. In this case, this is neutral, overheated, neutral, overheated, neutral. So this is kind of to be expected right now. We have quite a bit of, we have another line right here. We have quite a bit of uncertainty in what's going to happen today. So let's watch for these breakouts. I would say I personally would not trade the breakout either direction on this, because again, as I said earlier on in the show, I do think we'll either get a whipsaw down and back up like this, or whipsaw up, back down, test, and then potentially even, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty as to what's happening right now. If I were to guess, if we get the rate hike being a pause, I do think this will probably move to the upside. But even if this breaks to the upside, there will be a little washout to the downside, probably during press conference, come up, test, something like that. So be a little patient right now. If you get in here or here or here, it's not going to make much difference to you in the end when you're looking at where we're going to be going in the bull market. Now, excuse me. Now, if you are trading, if you're a scalper trading small ranges, then you're going to need to identify exactly where your entry, exit, stops are, because that is a trade to be made. But for the newer traders, I wouldn't just jump on it just because it starts moving. Wait for, if we do break out, wait for a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a confirmation, and you can enter somewhere in this region to be a little bit aggressive, or wait to break this. If this price comes up, breaks down, and comes back up, wait for it to break this high. That's your confirmation. If you want to be really aggressive, when this comes down to retest this and starts moving back up, if you're confident and you put a very tight stop loss, then that's okay too. But know that this may be a fake out and come down. You've got to understand the context of all the different market movements that are likely in this sort of volatile event, especially when there's a lot of pressure on crypto right now with all these SEC lawsuits. Now, my nose is itching. What are we going to look at? Everybody, throw one coin in chat. If you wanted me to only look at one, you don't need to do Ethereum, ADA, XRP. If you only wanted me to look at one chart, which chart would it be? If there's a bunch of, if there's a bunch of, two or three of them, I will try and make sure to do those TAs this morning. Man, this week, I can't see it because there's a bunch of emojis. What is it? This week is a banger. Morning all. How you doing? Maybe a Band-Aid. I was trying to read that. There's stuff together. We got 274 people in the room, 179 likes. Hit those like buttons. It doesn't just help this channel. It helps crypto and digital assets as a whole in the eyes of the statistics that YouTube looks at different niches of content. So if you're liking this kind of content, if you're watching it, if it's stirring any thought, you disagree with me or not, it lets YouTube know that you like crypto content, which means they know users are liking crypto content, which means they're going to do less shadow banning of crypto content. So get those likes up. Do your service in the crypto industry today. Subscribe to this channel. Join us here. We got great content here on a daily basis. Have we gotten, let's look at this. Let's reload. Have we gotten over 7,000? Oh, we hit it. 7,500. All right. I will also recommend coming to the Daily Alpha right here, this playlist. All you have to do is scroll down when you're on this page, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. You scroll down right here. All these are meant to be fairly evergreen. This one is great if you haven't watched it yet, the Pro Trading View guide. This gives you a bunch of quick keys, easy ways to navigate the markets. What's up? Oh, man, we got, I think our main delivery man is here, and he's delivering some knowledge.
Nice. Look, you can see through me. Wow. Look at that hair. I haven't even done it yet. Guys, I came to drop off a notice with Kelly. He's fired. So this is from FedEx. So Kelly, thank you. This is my show now. This is the BitLab Academy. I am the Bit Boy. Guys, let's talk about, we're actually rebranding. This is not going to be a crypto channel anymore. We're going to teach you guys how to trade treasury bonds. We're going into treasury bonds now. That's the new thing, guys. Guys, the banks have not got to me, I swear. But if you want to sign up for Goldman Sachs, I've got a link down below. Guys, Kelly does a great job. I'm in here doing a tour. Come say hey, John. We got John Vibes in the house, too. John Vibes is a script writer. He helps write my books.
Hey,
so,
what's up, everybody?
Yeah. There, well, you got to say it say it here. Say it in the mic.
Oh. What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. John is the hippie version of me, we call him. And he has ARFID. So you guys know, just like I do. Yeah, it's a real thing.
That's what I have.
It's an eating disorder. It's an eating disorder,
Very
guys.
validating.
Yeah.
I feel like such a little bitch when I'm at dinner.
Okay.
Now I've let go of it.
Yeah.
But when I'll be at dinner and people are like, you want this quiche? I'm like,
No.
I would give everything in my life not to have a bite of your quiche.
All right. Where do I apply? I'll work for Kelly. Guys, I'm not going to pay you in Kelly. That would be, he says he'll work for Kelly.
Hey.
How much of Kelly do you want? Which part do you want? I mean, his face looks pretty good these days since he got his hair's cut. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I'm just doing a tour.
Say one thing.
Yeah, say one thing.
If somebody was new to the market or frustrated with the market right now, what's the statement that you would say to them?
It took me 9 years to become a millionaire in crypto. Thank you.
Boom. It's the small gains. It's a great thing. Shout out to BitBoy hopping on the chat there. And John Vibes. Great point he just made there. So many people in this market come in and they expect, because they see somebody else that's made a lot of money. They're trying to catch up to Crypto Face. They're trying to catch up to BitBoy or to Crypto Capital Venture, or name any any of the people out there trading. Frankie Candles, Evan Aldo, Tom Crown, and they see you want, for instance, a great example of this. I fell victim to this myself, watching Crypto Face, and he's trading $4 million, and I'm sitting there trading like 25,000. This is several years ago. Trading like $25,000. I'm like, well, man, his is so high. So I'm doing 30x leverage to make my number look, it's still absolutely nothing like that, millions of dollars. But then you end up digging yourself into a deeper hole that, even though if the trade goes a direction and Crypto Face makes a ton of money, you may have lost everything on that trade, even though you entered the exact same spot. Because if you're doing 25x leverage and he's doing 4x leverage, then he has a huge amount of bandwidth in terms of space for the price to fluctuate and not have his stop loss hit, or not even stop loss, a liquidation hit, because every X you go up on leverage, you're also moving the liquidation point. You have a very small window. For instance, somebody's trading 50X price on Bitcoin. Price could move down, depending on what price level is at, price could move down $65 and you could be liquidated. Okay. So you need to remember, this is a long game. Now, it may not feel as fun. I will say one of the best things that somebody told me early on was, stop chasing dollars, chase percents. Even if you start with $25, if you do 10 trades in a row and you're getting 5%, 8%, 22%, 100% trade, a 6%, the percentages are what matter, because that's what's repeatable. The dollar amounts are irrelevant to your trading strategy. The percentages that you can compound over time is everything in trading, is everything in investing. And part of those percentages, and the only way you can do this and do it consistently and repeatably over time, is if you have capital protections in place, meaning you have risk management, you have strategy, you have a plan. That's what I want y'all to take away from this. Every time you step into a chart, what's your plan? What's your strategy? What's your capital protection? What happens if the market goes the other direction? What percentage are you after on this trade? And how much are you okay with losing? If you don't have those questions in your mind on any trade, then you don't deserve the profits in the trade you're taking. Know that. All right. Boom. Hopping in here. Let's get back to business. We got 279 people in the room, 200 likes. What's up? Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ding that bell. Now let's go ahead and look. Now it's my bad. It is important to notice here, we do have a little bit of a spinning top here. Spinning tops are likely. See this? Boom, down, boom. Is this going to come down? Right now, I'm going to discount a little bit the efficacy of Abella Fellow bars. I'm going to discount the efficacy of some of the candle patterns like this. This would indicate to me, and we have red here. This would indicate to me this is likely going to come down. But when we have a news event like today, it's especially something everybody in the market's trading, and it's going to change the risk narrative. This may just completely discount this and continue to the upside because it doesn't always. I mean, look at this. This was technically a reversal candle, and it went up. Let's see if we can find another reversal candle. It did. Reversal candle continued up, but then did roll over. We just need to take note of that. Look at these reversal candles back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. It's like Uno. Reverse. Nope. Reverse back. Reverse down. Reverse up. It's kind of funny how that happened. They don't really play that. They don't really work that way, but we just need to be aware of it. So looking here, if we come back over here to the MACD RSI money flow, look at this rounding to the upside. We saw that the MACD is still positive. RSI is now sitting right about the 50 line. Everything just feels like it's on a hair, so let's just be prepared. Now, we're going to see, let's see, I'm going to scroll through these. I see Crow. I see a lot of Crow. Is it all the same person? It's all the same person. So everybody, please don't spam. I appreciate your tenacity, and I appreciate you. Brad Guidell said, John 316. I let Kelly know. Hopefully, yeah, I will do Crow. I'll do Crow first. Please don't spam things a bunch of times. I'll let you all know. It's so irritating to people that are doing these channels when you're streaming and you see somebody post a coin 62 times. It makes you not want to do the coin. So I'll do Crow. I'll do a quick thing on Crow. But yeah, we'll do Link for sure. We need to do Link because Link is one of those coins that just is absolutely underprepared. Let's do Kelly coin as well. Let's do Kelly. I wish that existed. It doesn't. If it does, I have nothing to do with it. Well, yeah, and I'll do a couple others. Let's do Cardano first because it's up right here. Cardano, zipping in, zipping out, zipping all about. Look at this. It's just looks like Bitcoin up to $64,000. Push a little bit of a push higher, little bit, and then we get the lower low, lower high. Is this indicating we may have another push to the downside? My gut tells me yes because of all the pressure that's on Cardano right now. However, understanding that we had such a big sell-off, you know, if we look at this from here, okay. There we go. We look at this from here down. This is a pretty big sell-off. That's a 40% sell-off. And I'm doing this to the bottom of this wick right here, which is 40% sell-off. So this is a big sell-off. Now, is this relief rally going to be enough? Is this a response? Is this, okay, this fell far, this is our relief, is this going to roll back down? Or is this going to be something that sort of consolidates in this region and then starts working its way back up? We have to remember, if there's any of these cases that we get another sort of positive indication from a judge or any sort of legal counsel or Gary Gensler's fired, markets are going to do something completely bucking whatever TA is on the chart. It's just going to move, okay? So as this stands right now, if I were to look at just a TA, we are having, look at this. We have to understand this. This indicator right here, relative extrema, is suggesting that this is unfounded. It likely will push up. It really doesn't mean that. This is saying that there's not that much bearish energy to, there's an underlying bullishness that wants to come up. However, we're having bearish divergences right here on this push up right here. Bearish divergences on volume. They're not agreeing with this price level. It did drop. As it stands right now, this looks like to me, because of this roundingness right here, that this will likely come down, maybe a little bit of an attempt back up, come down to this level, push up, try to sort of do something like this. I'm thinking Cardano is likely going to roll over, barring any other positive news that's supporting the industry. If we look at this is on the 4-hour daily. This is blue, very blue, man. But look at this, came up and look at these indecision candles and is finding resistance. Look at this, this block from all the way back here, finding resistance right there. If we look at this on the MACD RSI, stochastics money flow, daily, you know, RSI is pretty darn low. This very well, I mean, this very well could come up and test this level up here at 30 cents and then get rejected and come down. I'm a little indecisive on Cardano because of all the selling pressure from being pulled off of Robinhood and eToro and all these other things. Stochastics kind of a little bit rolling over. 4-hour shows money flow trying to come up, but it's not looking healthy. We need to understand the context around this. We're not just doing TA. We need to understand the pressures at play right now. So coming over here, let's look at Ethereum. Remember, Mr. Blake, you never miss a trade if you don't take it. Don't think that way. You always have another opportunity. If you feel like you're missing a trade, that gives you incentive to just jump into something so you don't miss more of it. If you miss a trade, that's fine. You can't be a slave to your computer all the time. That's okay. You can have a strategy in place, and if you're there to execute it, execute it. If you're not, don't try to execute it while you're on the train, on the subway, on your phone, trading. You end up making an error, accidentally doing 25x versus spot or not, be at your trading desk. I talk about this in BitLab Academy in the trading fundamentals course, one of the early ones, also in the trading psychology. You need to be able to be focused when you're trading the capital that you worked your ass off to earn. This deserves your full attention when you're making those decisions. Now look at this. We had the sharp decline in money flow right here. Boom. Look at this. Right on the cross is when this dropped down. This was trying to come back up. I mean, look at this. Option T. We got a trend line right here on the stochastics. It's looking like Ethereum may be making another move to the downside. However, there was some positive wording and framework around in the Hinman documents around Ethereum. So is this going to be a BART pattern where the inverse BART pattern where this down, consolidate, and then moonshot back up? This is something that I think this could happen. We're finding support right here at this volume node right here on the VPVR. It's looking like the momentum's trying. This is, let me double click on this. Option T, just a chart vision. I could see this sort of. Now on this case, let's see. Yeah. So in this case, I would do these three. Look at this. Look at this. It's having weakness here. See these smooth moves? Smooth move into it. Move, rejection. Move, rejection. If I were to guess, Ethereum probably would take another. The RSI would. I don't know. This market is so confusing right now. Patience on what we're seeing with the FOMC. It's because we have to realize we also have. Let's extend this out. We also have this. This is how I do this. Why? Boom, rejection, breakthrough, bounce, rejection on wick, rejection on candle, rejection on candle. And we look at this. It's rounding into this zone right here. If I were to guess, this would likely sort of at least have a small move down. If it does move up, I think it's going to be a very quick move because of this candle right here. There's been no liquidity that's really been able to be expressed in this area. So I do think this would be a fast move up. If this does get rejected, I'd be looking at probably this hanging. I don't see this as weak as like Cardano and the other ones, because this doesn't have that security speculation sort of weighing overhead on this zone right here. So yeah, if this comes down, I would want it to hold this level 1712. If it loses this level, man, probably down to 16. I'm gonna do it all the way from over here, actually. Probably from the down to the 1660 level. If it loses this sort of zone right here, because as it stands, no, maybe not. Let me look. As it stands, this looks a little bit like a bear flag, bear pennant. Okay, why do I say that? Option T. Got this right here, and then we got this right here, obviously. So if we were to measure this out, if this were going to be a bearish continuation, let's sort of look at it. Man, this is this would be all the way down to the 1610 sort of zone, which is perfectly in line with where this bottomed right here. Look at this. These topped here, this bottomed here, this quarter bounced here, and I don't think this is particularly going to play out unless we get more. I mean, if we get a Kraken lawsuit, then that could tank the whole market again. But this is the level I'd be watching. Option J, I'd be watching 1612, 1660, and 1713 on downside price action. If we get positive news on the FOMC meeting, and we also get some positive news from some of the tone from judges and such on these other cases, like potential dismissals or another potential slap down to Gary Gensler, then this, in addition to the FOMC, determining a rate pause, then this very well could be moving back up into here, and we'd be looking at up here, back up at 1860, which is basically boom, 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 looking at this zone right here. This is the next zone down that I'd be looking at. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Now, let's do a coin that let's do ICP since it's up. This is not a slam on any coin. It's just this happened to be up, so I don't have to navigate back and forth. Okay, falling wedge broke bearishly out of this, right? Falling wedges usually break bullish, but you can't ignore context, right? You can't ignore bad news situations and being labeled as a security by the SEC. Now this drops down, finds support in this zone right here, drop down. Now we're getting rejected here. Let's go ahead and look at what the indicators say. MACD is rolling over. How do I know that? Look at the histogram. We're getting expansion, now contraction. Now this is not much yet. Look at this right here. This is trying to expand again. Maybe we get something positive here. We have the money flow has crossed over. This is on the 4 hour. What does it say on the daily? Look at this. Maybe there's a move to be made in ICP. Now let's go ahead and make this trend line right here. Technically on the stochastics, the stochastics have broken out. Now this is still sitting, if we look at this, option J, this is right at the 50 line, meaning mostly bearish if we're under this, we're strength of trend if we're above this. But this is this is more true. This is more true on RSI than it is on stochastics, because you can have stuff above. You see this here? This is all above the 50 line, but this kind of dips down. This dipped all the way down to 24 before it came back up. But you see how the majority of the stochastics in the strength of this trend is way up here high. So it does ring true for stochastics as well. But we're breaking out here, but we're still not able to break above this 50 line. RSI is way low. Option T, come down here like this. I don't know where this trend line would be. Maybe like this. So RSI is looking to break out. If we are, we still need to watch for what's happening with price action when this gets near the 50 line. If the price action, the candles, the momentum's starting to shrink, or we're getting a little bit of indecision, doji candles, spinning tops, and it comes into this zone, and we see the RSI rounding as well, then we can expect a rejection. So this could also, ICP could push all the way up to this zone here, $4.34. We zoom this out a bit, $4.34. This zone right here, basically, actually, it wouldn't be 434. What am I talking? Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, I got confused by this here. This came up in this zone, $4.36. This could still get rejected here and come back down. But as it stands right now, let's go to 4 hour, 2 hour. Look at this. This is trying. Look at this. 2 hours, giving us a little bit of a front run. This contraction, and now it's flipping back on the MACD. The RSI broke above the 50 line, came down, tested the 50 line perfectly, and has bounced back up to the upside. Stochastics, way up here, came down, tested down to the 30s, came back up. Money flow is starting to expand again. So on ICP, maybe if this can break this line, maybe there's going to be a move to be made, which is, if we look at this, this is not a small move. This is a 10% move. Now we need to revisit that. That's the level I'm looking at. I'm not going to look higher there. We're going to look at the $4.35 level on ICP. If this gets rejected, then we're going to immediately look at the level below us, 352. Next level down about 340, and then we'll just look at those levels for now. Now let's look at Crow. I don't think I ever look at Crow. I don't have any feelings one way or another about Crow, but let's look at it. Okay, first thing I'm seeing, money flow, sharp increase. Let's go to the daily. Go to auto. We're going to double click on this, minimize the other stuff. Now we're going to option T. We're going to do a trend line here. Now, for this, look at this. Option J. I'm going to move this just a little bit. This is exactly where we're bouncing. Now, the other thing I can see, T. That's what I see. Top, rejection. Bottom, bounce. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Now look at this bounce. So this is an unconventional sort of pattern. I wouldn't call this a falling wedge because of this outlier right here. It's not going like this. It's not going bounce, 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 bounce like a ping pong. This is a little bit of this is not a falling wedge. These are just two trend lines that I found that have some components of a falling wedge over here. Now at this stage, this would be a falling wedge. Bounce, 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 bounce. So from this point forward, it is, but we also see that this gives a little bit of credibility because we're seeing this bounce and bounce here. We project this backwards. We can see this had rejection support. So it gives it a little bit more credibility for this trend line here. Now, when we're looking at this, man, this is ugly. Some people will say there's an inverse head and shoulders right here, but this is very sideways. So I wouldn't necessarily call that, but this is finding some support on this previous level. If we lose this level, then we're going to be looking at a lower price action. As it stands right now, volume has fallen off a cliff. I hate these. I turn these off every time. Where is this news? There we go. All right, so look at this, MACD. Look at this, expanding to the downside. This is on the daily. Money flow is starting to curve a little bit, but it's very choppy. Stochastics are getting rejected. Look at this, each time at the 50, right here, boom, boom, boom. RSI is resetting down below, so this could be setting up for an opportunity to come. As it stands right now, I would say Crow is sitting down here. It's kind of testing at this level. It's sitting on this previous low right here. If we lose this, I'd be looking directly below us at $4. Sorry, $4. That would be ridiculous. 4.8 cents. Okay. If we lose this level, if we bounce here, then we're looking up here. It's not going to go straight up. So let's look over about right here. About 6.3 cents, which is not a small move. That's a decent move. I mean, that's a 22%, the 15 to 20% move. But this is option T. Yeah. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's get a little more clarity. It's looking weak. Bounced, fell, bounced. Let's look at this. Where did it bounce to? Let's see where it bounced to. Option F, top to bottom. Where did it bounce to? Look at this. This is why we always use the Fibonacci as much as possible on sell-offs. Sell-off, okay, if this starts here, it starts bouncing, then you draw. You go over here to the left side, you get your Fibonacci tool, or you press on Mac, Option F, or on PC, Alt F. Watch, Option F, and then you click once, and then okay, hold on. Okay, Option F, you click once. That's it, just once, and then you move your mouse, and where you want to drag it to, click again, you have your Fibonacci. What we're doing here is from this move, this breakdown, and you set the Fibonacci right to the bottom of this wick here, and now you have your golden pocket identified. So now as this is moving up, you could say, oh, as the price is moving, you see the context of the market, you see the context of your indicators, you say, okay, is the momentum increasing into this or decreasing? Well, here it's increasing into it. And then here immediately we notice that the momentum is decreasing. Why do I say that? Let me double click on the chart. Why do I say momentum is decreasing? Look, white candle. On most of your charts, if you don't change your candle colors, this would be a green candle, okay? Green candle, larger green candle, larger green candle. This means momentum to the upside is increasing. Then we get a smaller green candle. See, this candle is smaller in height than the one before. This is already indicating, and we know we're going up into the golden pocket territory, which is typically where trends will reverse if they're going to, on a bounce, on a relief bounce. So expansion and momentum starting to contract. We see it really contracting here with the smaller candle, much smaller candle. Look at this. Bulls really tried. Bears took it back down, much smaller candle. We got a little bit of a move here, but then it's just back and forth until we get the spinning top. And this is just below the golden pocket. Right here was a perfect, if you shorted this or bought this, this is a great partial take profit zone or full take profit zone. Or if you're betting on further down price action, then you come over here to your short tool right here. You sort of put your zone right here, put your entry. Typically you would front run this a little bit because sometimes it doesn't get all the way into the golden pocket. And you kind of go like this. And you set your target. What you would do here is on this move, now you go the opposite. If you're just scalping, you take this move all the way up to the top to the bottom. And what do you know? So we have the Fibonacci for the bounce. Now on the bounce, when you see this reversing, now you can calculate about how far the price is going to go based on using a Fibonacci again from the bottom to the top of this move. Now we have the golden pocket. Boom, right here. Look at this. You took your short, you have your stop loss right here. And on this move, as soon as this came to this zone right here, as soon as it starts reversing, you draw your Fibonacci to this zone right here. And on this drawing, you have a couple things mapped out. You have your 382, which look, this bounced right around the 382, lost it, came down. Look at this. I'm going to make this big. Perfectly filled the golden pocket right here and then reversed. You see how you can use these tools on these, especially if you're scalping or doing day trades, you're just you use the Fibonacci is for me, one of the biggest tools you can utilize on day, like multi-day trade. Like if you're trading multiple times throughout the day, AKA scalp trading, or on small time frame swing trading, it's known as scalp trading. Use your Fibonacci, understanding the price action, what's happening with price action, as well as what's going on with where you're at in terms of the larger trend, right? If we're coming up into trend lines and such. In this case, this not only, look at this, golden pocket, we also knew that we had this previous market low, which is what this, if we zoom out again, you see, low, and we came down when this bounced back to 2 hour. When this was coming down, rejection, we knew we had a target here from the golden pocket, but it's also perfectly in line with the previous low. So if you shorted this and you're swinging this trade, then you're trying to profit on these smaller movements with not your entire portfolio. This is small amounts, small allocations of your portfolio. You need to allocate separately to a trading portfolio, and then you still do a portion of that. You don't use your entire trading portfolio. You trade these little swings. You're using the Fibonacci for the reversal here. Now you use a Fibonacci here for the reversal here because it's in line with where this previous low is. Now let's do link. Links looks very similar. I'm not going to do the full macro here, but what we can do here, this is actually looking a little weaker though, because this now has a rising wedge. When you do this for a long time, you just get chart vision. You just see it. Now on this case, option F down to the bottom, this got nowhere near on the bounce, nowhere near the golden pocket yet, but we could work our way up there. This is not a bear pennant or a bear flag because this is almost the same length as this is long here or tall. I want this to go up because I love Link, and I feel like it just has not gotten the love of interest and investment that it deserves. But we see this is contracting. How do I know it's contracting? Remember, we got these light color green. Dark is expansion, green is contracting. Contracting means momentum is starting to weaken to the upside, okay? And it's weakening, and we could tell this because this chart formation one, and look at this. This is a little bit contrary to everything else. Money flow, look at that, triggering to the upside. Now, what do the other indicators say? What does the BitLab Trading Stack say? Okay, coming up, we said that the momentum was weakening. Well, look, immediately, as soon as we got in the zone, relative extremists sticking out, we see these pink candles. And what happens after that? Either consolidation typically or reversal. And we're consolidating right now. Bearish divergence on the hidden volume right here. And we have the red wave, meaning overvalued at this zone. So this is looking relatively weak right now. Unless we get some sort of, I think this will likely, in the context of what's happening with the FOMC today, we may get some pumps on all things despite bearish markets. But even with that, despite NETA today, we may get a little bit of this. We may get a little bit of up, down, continuation to the downside. We're going to get people, market makers, smart money, driving speculative emotion so that they can take advantage of getting their shorts from a higher position or getting their longs from a lower position. We're going to see volatility going into the what we expect is a no rate hike situation at 2 p.m. when that number is released. But at the same time, as that number is released, there's going to be volatility going right up into that a few minutes before, as well as a few minutes after. Could be either direction, and then all the way through to when we have when the press conference happens a few minutes later, that has the tone of what they're talking, of where they think they want to go on all this. So we need to be patient on all this. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. Make sure you come over to the BitLab Academy Twitter page here. Get entered to win. Could be $100, could be multi-month membership, could be free indicators. Hit this retweet, hit this like button, get involved, and make sure you're coming over to the BitLab Academy page right here. Come to the home area, hit enroll now if you want to join, or you can come here to start your education for free. And when you click this, you have option for all the purchases. You can do the BitLab Pro for access to the premium Discord, all the indicators, as well as all the BitLab trading courses. If you want the very basics, or you want to share the basics with a friend, get them to sign up for the free thing here. It's free. All they need to do is sign up. They have access. Bitcoin Blockchain 101. And also the free area of the Discord. If you want access to the premium Discord, as well as, which today I'll be doing an AMA at 4 p.m. For the BitLab members, the paying members. There's going to be an AMA there for, we're going to talk about charts and answer questions, and you get access to all the courses. You sign up right here for the I Want All Access. Again, you can use Give Me 30 for 30% off your first month. I love you all. With that, adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, sucker.